How about Bryce Underwood? Have you had a chance to see him?
I have watched him throw. My goal is to make it out to Ann Arbor. My mom went to Michigan, and I've been in contact with a couple people out there. I just want to go watch him throw in person because the arm is huge. It really explodes out of his hands. He's a dynamic athlete. He's a dynamic personality, and I think that is important, especially in today's era, NIL wise. I like him a lot. I just want to see it in pads now. I think I'm ready. But no, I like Underwood. I mean, he is. If there was a quote unquote Jeremiah Smith of quarterbacks, I think it would look like Bryce Underwood.
Got a stat for you, Chris. You gotta track this one going forward. So it hit me, and I may have mentioned this to you when we had you on before, that one of my favorite off-season projects is looking at standings from one season to the next. I used to think, okay, college football kind of stays the same because
recruiting,
fill in the blanks at the top 5, it's
right.
the same all the time. But that doesn't translate all the way through college football like I thought at one point. And I would look at these preseason magazines like Athlon's, Street and Smith's, and they would pretty much just cookie cutter. Even the lower teams, they would pretty much, you'd see the same records and you would rarely see them take a chance on anybody. So I started to track this like 6-7 years ago, and I just chose 3 wins. I thought that's a significant difference from season to season. You go 6-6, you go 9-3, 3 wins, either going north or south. So I started to find a trend where like a third of the Power 5 teams, there was 29 last season, that had a difference in wins by at least 3 out of the 70, 29 of them from season to season. So that being said, who do you see out there? And I know we got to get through the spring, and then you got to let things kind of settle in, soak in, and look at your predictions for, who do you think has a possibility as a breakout, or who could take a tumble this year, whether that's in the Big Ten or across the nation?
I'd have to look at some lines to make sure I'm not just like, piggybacking off what Vegas thinks, but I am very high on Illinois. Like very high. I think Illinois, first of all, they're returning a lot. That's big. Brett Bielema, it feels like things are kind of cooking over there. They've got depth on both lines. I think that's really important. And they ended the year on a hot streak at the end of the year, and they're bringing back the production that was hot. So I got Illinois very, very up. I think they could be this year's Indiana, and I feel really comfortable saying that. So them, I'm really locked in on. I really like what Cal's doing. Look, I think Devin Brown can play football. I like what they've done. I like their coaching staff. I don't know if you saw, but they brought in Ron Rivera as well to be a GM. They're going to be very, very aggressive in the portal. They've got 2 big tech boosters that are willing to spend to make their football good again. And I think Brian Harsin as an OC is perfect for them. I think he was in over his head as the head coach at Auburn, which it kind of showed itself. But I'm a big believer, if you've got a coaching staff full of former head coaches, I think that's positive, especially when getting the culture is there and getting the talent is there too. So that's kind of one of the national teams I'm really high on. I'm worried about SMU this year. I don't know if they can repeat kind of the season they've had last year. So if I had to guess at a team going down, and then obviously I think Indiana's going to go down because I don't know if they can replicate last year. But honestly, the kid they got, I don't know, the quarterback from Cal is supposed to be real deal. I watched a decent amount of him late last year, but that's kind of my overall thoughts. But I'm buying as much stock as I can in Illinois.
Fernando Mendoza, he's a gamer. He's not loaded with talent. He doesn't have a gun, but he's a baller. He runs around and he makes it tough on defenses.
Yeah, and he was the most coveted. I don't know if you know, but he was fielding offers from Alabama and Georgia as well. And honestly, the Indiana thing was because of the family connection over there. So talk about a team that got a little fortunate.
Yeah. How does Curt Cignetti hit you?
I think Curt Signetti is super misunderstood. I really do. I listened to him talk about this real briefly on Con Coward, which I suspected was true. He talks a lot. It's like real gimmicky, like a real loud, I'm the man, like we're the program, we're next up. Ohio State sucks, Purdue sucks, they all suck, Michigan sucks. And you hear these and it's like, dang, he's arrogant, doesn't get it. And I can't wait to humble him. And then I heard him speak about why he operates that way. And I'm like, I understand. He said he has to operate this way because when he doesn't operate this way, people within Indiana don't believe it. So he says, if I can do this and I can give and I can be the shield for these people to experience belief in their football program for the first time, I'll do it. Because if I don't, we're done for.
And that's what hit me when he made the big statement and then he followed it up with all the other things that he said. I thought, would he do this somewhere else? Or is this just basically, I'm in Indiana, they get their teeth kicked in all the
Yeah.
time, and I got to raise the expectations and give these people some hope and give them a little swag like, no,
We
bow
can
your
do
chest
it.
out a
Like
little bit.
you don't have to be afraid to get your teeth kicked in. We can do it. And so I think it's fascinating kind of watching the psychology that he's had to go through. Because, to a lot of casual football fans, they didn't really know too much about Signetti. Like, they didn't know he was at Bama with Nick Saban. They didn't know kind of the success he's had at these smaller schools. And so it was kind of their first time hearing Signetti on a mic talk about, Google me, I win, Ohio State sucks, Michigan sucks, Purdue sucks. Like, people hadn't heard that before. And while it did put a target on their back, when has anybody ever said, you know what? I can't wait to go play Indiana. They had Juju, who was a 5-star quarterback in the class, was taking multiple visits to Purdue. That doesn't happen unless Signetti gets loud and makes people believe in it. And so I'm a Signetti fan for that. He's going to give you a lot of annoying sound bites. I love sound bites. And he's going to be really misunderstood by a majority of college football fans. But dear Chris Signetti, Chris Drew, I get it.
Don, we appreciate the contribution, man. Showing love, my guy Chris. This is a great collab.
Don B's a real one, man. I love Don. Thank you. I appreciate you, big dog.
I'm going to hit you with somebody else. I love throwing this guy out at people. PJ Fleck.
I'm not a Fleck guy, man.
There aren't many out there.
Are you a Fleck guy?
I'm a Fleck guy.
Oh, no.
Our buddy Steve Days at Michigan Podcast. I wish I could remember the denomination. He ties some church denomination and calls him like the Presbyterian youth pastors with with the sweater vest and the tie and the way everything's lined up as a speech. The
messaging just never worked with me. It never did. It was a little bit too youth pastory, a little bit too used car salesman on top of it. I just never liked it, I guess. And also, like, back in the day when all the Twitter debates were like, who do you like better? PJ Fleck or Scott Frost. I used to be all in on Scott Frost. Boy, was I wrong, but I was all in on Scott.
Well, he's the other end of the spectrum. He just doesn't have a good day. Scott Frost, he's got a scowl on his face all the time.
No, Scott Frost, and honestly, if coaching doesn't work out, if he's done at UCF after however many years, he needs to go take up acting and be the villain, because he strikes me as he's just easy to root against, man. But I like Scott. I think football is better when I see his rosy cheeks on the sideline. So.
Yeah, I don't know if UCF's making the best decision there. Just thinking that they're going to catch lightning in a bottle again with him.
Well, yeah, but also think about it, Mark. They know that if he does get things going over there, are they going to lose him again, or does he now know what the other side looks like? The grass is not always greener. So, on the case that they do catch lightning again, they won't have to release it, because no way he uses them as a stepping stone job twice, right?
But see, I like PJ. In the same way that I like Dabo Swinney. And I know a lot of people hate Dabo Swinney because they both have me convinced that it's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
For as corny as it may be, I think it's genuine.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know if it's. Here we go. Dabo's done a better job in selling me that it's genuine than PJ. But with Dabo, my thing is it genuine to you, and do people actually believe in it, or do you just believe in it so much you're going to make others believe? With PJ, I can't tell if he actually believes in it. With I know Dabo believe whatever he's drinking over there. I know he believes in it. I wonder sometimes if Fleck believes in it, or if he's just trying to sell it.